mixed, yum, with M&Ms. And they think the perfect mixture is 32 ounces of popcorn and 8 ounces of M&M. Now the question is asking what percent of their mixture is made up of popcorn. So we've highlighted, now let's begin labeling. We have two parts. The first part is popcorn. And their second part, so actually the first part is M&Ms. So we have part 1. And the second part is the popcorn. Part 2. Now, let's make sure we are annotating all of our information in an organized manner. So we have info, part 1, part 2, and we have our total. Part 1 we said was a mixture of popcorn and M&Ms. So part 1 we're going to say are M&Ms. And part 2 is our popcorn. All right. And then the total represents all of it combined. We know that we're comparing ounces. So we have ounces. And we're going to set them equal to what their corresponding percentages are. So as of right now, we know that 32 ounces of popcorn. So we have 32 ounces of popcorn. We have 8 ounces of M&Ms. And so we know that our total number of ounces is 40 ounces in total. Now, the question here is asking us what percent of the mixture is popcorn. So we have to go down to a popcorn section, and we're looking to see what is this percentage. Now let's take a step back. What other percentage do we know here? Even though it's not visible in our problem, what percentage can we begin to fill out? If you said the total, you are correct, because total is always represented by what? Yes, 100%. Okay. And so now we have enough information to begin laying out our double number line. So we have double number line. We have a percentage and we have ounces. Our percentage is 0% to 0 ounces. And if we look at our total, we know that 100% represents 40 ounces. Great. We want to find out what 32 ounces is equivalent to. So this is where we're trying to get to. Now, there's a problem, though. There is no whole number I can divide 40 by to get to 32. So this right here. All right, so then that means that I'm going to have to scale back even further to a number that I can multiply out to 42. And that number is, I can divide by 5. If I divide by 5, 40, oh no, it's going to be even a little further. 40 divided by 5 gives us 8. And 100 divided by 5 gives us 20%. And this allows us to 8 times 4 will give us 32. And what we do to the bottom, we must do to the top, times 4. And this gives us 80%. So popcorn makes up 80% of the mix. All right, put 80%. And then here, there's a second part to it. It says, after eating 75% of the mixture, how many ounces of their favorite snacks are left? So they're going to eat 85%. All right, well, we got most of the information done. Let's redraw our number line. Percentage, ounces, 0%, 100%. We know that 100% represents 40 ounces. All right, and they ate 75% of it. So, remember, this is asking how much is left. So let's go ahead And here I divide by 4. This gives me 25%. Divide by 4. This gives me 10 ounces. Times 3. Times 3. This is 30 ounces that they had eaten. So this eaten, the question is asking what's left. Therefore, we have to go ahead and take our original 40 ounces and subtract it by the 30 ounces that were eaten. So total eaten and 10 ounces is what's left over. So there will be 10 ounces left. All right, let's go on to our next problem. The circus had one performance at the Dewey Civic Center and at the Atlantic Auditorium. The Dewey Civic Center has 1,600 seats. The tickets for 85% of the total number of seats were sold. How many tickets were sold? All right, so we have, okay, so it has 1,600 seats. So this is our total. And now it says the tickets for 85% of the total number of seats were sold. So this is part 1, which represents the sold. So what would the other part represent? I hope you said unsold. So here, let's go ahead. We have part 1, part 2, our total. Part 1 is going to represent the sold, and part 2 is going to represent the unsold. And our total is all seats. Great. Set up our percentages. And here we have tickets. So we know the total, if we were to sell out the entire arena, there would be 1,600 tickets sold. And we know that the total represents 100%. They're saying the tickets, tickets for 85% of the total seats were sold. So we know the percentage here is 85 were sold. Okay. How many tickets were sold? So we are looking to figure out what this number represents. So we can go ahead and begin drawing our double number line. Okay. We have percent tickets, 0%, 100%, 1,600 represents our total. This is 0. We want to find out this right here, this 85%. How many tickets does this 85% represent? Well, can't go from 100 to 85. So we have to figure out what could we scale down to be able to scale back up. All right. So at this point, you should be thinking, all right, what can I scale down to go back up? All right, so I know that if I divide 85, multiples of 85 are 5. Okay. So, okay, let's see, what can we do? Okay, so we can actually scale down to 5% because we know 85 is a multiple of 5. So divide the top and the bottom by 20. I get 5%, and 1,600 divided by 20 gives me 80. So 5% represents 80 tickets. Now let's multiply 5 times 17, and that gives me 85. And now 80 times 17 gives me 1,360. So this is equal to 1,360, and that's how many tickets were sold. All right, let's go ahead, and there's a